Good afternoon, everybody. It's Kent Clothier here with REI Nation. Welcome to our Facebook group meeting this afternoon, 2 o'clock live call Central Time. I'll introduce our guests in just a second, but again, we want to say, again, thank you for all of you that are joining us. We just went over 2,600 members on our Facebook group, which we only started about 6 or 7 months ago, so it's growing very, very well. A lot of our members are active in it, asking questions and looking at the videos that we have on there that Chris and I do from time to time. So again, we thank you for joining us on the call today. And just want to say that if you don't mind, hit the like button or the love button there, and please share this with other people, because that's how we grow the group, and we get more folks on here and more people contributing and participating and bringing good content for all of our people that are in the group. And that's the whole idea with the group, is for there to be some great conversation and great content on there for all of our listeners to see. So in the group, we probably have about 400 to 500 of our current investors on the group. Today we have a couple of our current investors on there, and I will introduce them in just a second. Also in the group is some people that are business owners, and some people are thinking about starting a business. Some people are thinking about getting involved in real estate. We certainly have some clients on there that are possible clients on there are considering REI and PPMG. And that's why we do these conversations, so you guys can kind of hear how we're doing. And today you're going to get to hear a couple of people that have been doing this for a while. We're going to hear their stories. So let me introduce to you Yuri and Pedro. I'm going to let them tell you their story in just a second. Also joining me today is Carrie Wilson. Carrie Carrie is our customer service person that handles these two gentlemen's houses and accounts. And then Ashley Tinker is on the call today. She's also portfolio advisor and has been with us a long time and handles the account for these two gentlemen. Ashley's been with us. How long have you been with us, Ashley?
This will be my 8th year.
8th year. Ashley's literally sold hundreds, if not thousands, of houses by now. Carrie, how long have you been with our company in the customer service department?
3 years now.
3 years. Carrie handles, we have 7 ladies in our customer service department that talk and call our clients every month, and in some cases every week. And there's 7 of them in there that each of them have about 300 clients each that they talk to every month. And so that's part of their job. And I asked them to join us on the call today, and we'll hear from both of them as we move along here about anything that comes up. But let me go to Yuri and Pedro, and whichever one of you gentlemen would like to jump in and kind of tell us your story on how we got started. I know our listeners love hearing these stories about how you got started and how you're up to, combined, both of you gentlemen have 21 houses. Yuri has 7 and Pedro 14, spread out over different cities. So you guys kick it off, whoever wants to start. Again, welcome, and we're excited about having you on the call today.
Very good. Thanks for having us. Good. Well, Peter's a big brother. I'll give him the go.
Okay, I'll start. So Clint, our story kind of starts a little bit sad, but hopefully it ends with a happy ending. Well, for me, actually, I started, my wife and I we got married in the year 2000. Before we got married, we actually bought a house here in the San Fernando Valley. It was a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And this is how crazy real estate is in California. Back then, we were to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $150,000 in the San Fernando Valley. That's insane. We thought it was expensive at that time, but it was insane. We ended up getting married. We got our jobs. We slowly progressed and everything. We ended up we had our first child, had our second child. We ended up paying off that house. Like in 15, 16 years, we paid it off completely. We were debt free. Like, I'm a happy man. I have no mortgage. All my cars were paid off, everything. I'm happy. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is when my mother-in-law would come visit from Vegas, she would have to be sleeping in the living room. My kids were getting bigger. We were outgrowing the house, and we wanted to move to a nicer school district. So what we ended up doing was instead of selling the house and taking all that money and putting it into the new house, I took some money out and I used that as my down payment for my new house. So now we're in 2014, and that house's value now is $520,000. Wow. So in 15 years, that house tripled, almost quadrupled its value.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, I took out 200,000. I got 300,000 sitting there, and I'm like, all right, I'll rent it. I'm gonna keep it. It'll be a rental. But I took some money out, so now I had a mortgage again on that other house. I'm like, all right, cool. I can rent it for $2,000 a month. My mortgage is $1,200 to $1,400, so I'm making $600 a month. I'm a happy man. I'm good. The problem is, I thought it was good, but I had $300,000 just sitting there, not doing. It was making me $600 a month, and I'm like,
And I kept telling you.
well, not yet. He didn't tell me yet because we weren't there yet. So here comes the part where it becomes a little sad. In 2014, I bought my house here in Granada Hills, and then in Christmas of 20, right after Christmas 2014, our mom got sick. She got brain cancer, and it was a stage 4, and it wasn't good. She went through 3 brain surgeries, and we lost her in September of 2015. Now, yeah, I'd give everything up to get her back, but I can't. That's when we had a decision on her house to decide what to do with her house. Do we sell it, or do we rent that one out too? And that's when Yuri actually heard a commercial online for Fortune Builders.
Yeah, I'll pick up for a second, Pete.
Okay, go for it.
So for years, we've renovated our own homes, and we've done well, and we've seen the markets go up in value and that sort of thing. And we've always been interested in doing the whole house flipping thing, but we've never had the means. We both have full-time jobs that have taken good care of us, and it was never really for us to replace our job. It was just, let's do that because it seems like a good way to go. And we just never had the financial ability to do that. And that year when Mom passed away, she left her house to us, and like Pete said, we were debating on do we keep it or not. And my wife Heidi heard on the radio an advertisement from Fortune Builders. And at the time, we didn't know it was Fortune Builders. It was just an ad about if you're into flipping homes, using other people's money, that sort of thing, come and join us for this free thing. So I went out there, probably like an hour drive, and did the intro, and that led us to a more like deep dive into what they do. And eventually we bought into that program because we thought, okay, if we're ever going to take a shot at this, it's now. Let's see what it's about. And we bought into their program, and they introduced us to what they call their passive income club, which brought us to REI Nation. Part of that was, our decision to, okay, let's sell Mom's house and use the funds that we have there to flip homes in California. That was our primary goal. And as we got moving there, we struggled with that because we just didn't succeed at that. Let's put it that way.
we put like 20, 30 offers, and none of them. We were always too low, and none of them came back. So it was bad.
This wasn't our thing. But we decided, well, this money's just sitting there. Let's put some of it into these passive incomes, because we were kind of beyond the building funds. These programs start you at figure out how to make money using other people's money. We had the money. We just needed a place to put it. So to keep it kind of going, we decided to sell Mom's house. We took the funds, bought into this program, tried it for a couple of months, and they decided, yeah, let's see what these passive incomes are about. And I believe Pete was the first one to go through. At that time, you guys were Memphis Invest, and
yep.
Pete went down that way. I went with similar guys in Jacksonville. Both of us have done great. We both kind of went for let's get our feet wet and see how it goes. And as you can see from our portfolios, we just took off from there.
So my brother eventually he convinced me, like, dude, you're not making enough. You're not making enough on you have $300,000 sitting there on this house and it's not doing anything. You're making $600,000. That's not a good return. So eventually, and it was fine. I thought I was doing good because my tenants were paying every month and everything. So we ended up selling the house, and we did a 1031 exchange. And Mark called back then. He's the one that helped us do that. He got us houses right away. And I got a bulk of them. So we decided, I'm going to try my first 5. And that's when we took the $300,000 and we invested in 5 houses out there. I still have those mortgages because those are mortgages. And then I started seeing that with that $300,000, now instead of making $600, I'm making $2,000 a month, $2,400 a month.
Right.
And that's when I start to see the fruits. Okay, well,
the light came on.
Yeah, that was a light bulb moment, right? So I started making more money there. And then what I ended up doing was I even did it for my kids. I mean, I had some money saved up I had two savings accounts for them, one for a college, which I wouldn't touch, but I had another savings account for them since they were little. And I took that 20,000 or almost 25,000 that they each had, and I actually bought a house. Same thing with them. So now I'm up to 7, 8 houses, almost 10 houses, and I'm doing great. I'm like, all right, I'm getting some good income here and all that stuff. And then I think is that when you started going, Yuri, after I did that?
No, so I didn't end up with Reanation until our retirement funds kicked in.
Okay, so that was the second part here. The second part is where it actually blew up, and now we're at the 20-something house. The company we work with was an ESOP.
In the same place.
Same company. We've been there 23 years. It's my first real job. What the owners of that company did back in, was it 2002? 2002. They actually sold the company to its employees, and we became an ESOP, an employee stock ownership plan, and they gave each one of us stocks. We stayed in there the whole time, and it's been building up and building up. And then 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago. They brought us all into the boardroom. The company had grown everything, and the CEO at that point said, I know I keep telling you guys we're not going to sell. We sold. And they basically sold for 3.5 times what the value of our shares were. So now all of a sudden we have tons of money, but it's retirement money. We can't touch it. So we can't do anything. But at that point, we're like, okay, we can either put it in a 401k, play with stocks or whatever, or that's when we went back to NCH, and we're like, what do we do? You do a self-directed 401k. Right. So that's what we ended up doing. We took all those funds, we put it in a self-directed 401k, and we started picking up houses left and right. And now we're just seeing that grow to the point where I think I can probably get 2 houses a year now. That's how quickly it's growing.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I think Yuri's in the same spot. What it does is it actually opens it up, because when you guys put your REI Nation for us to invest in you guys, we took advantage of that as well. So not only do we have the properties, we're in your fund as well. Which
you're in our
great.
Fund. Very good. Very good.
So now it's just
sorry to cut you off. So I think the key for us was really, it was a windfall funds that we never really imagined to that level. And, everybody knows that there's a stock market and that it has its ups and downs and that sort of thing. We weren't comfortable with that, but we knew right away something that's worked for us and we're comfortable with is real estate and the properties and working with you guys. And yeah, it was like a no-brainer for us.
Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. How are the houses doing? I see you guys have them in Memphis, St. Louis, Little Rock, Oklahoma City. You guys got them spread out pretty good, which is really good. How are they doing?
For me, I have zero complaints. Carrie takes great care of me. She lets me know, and it's like everything else. There's risk with everything. So you expect every house to pay every month, and for the most part, they do. I don't think I've ever missed a rent, or if we has, it's because of tenant or whatever. But we know there's repairs. But you get those same risks when you're playing in the stock market. If Google crashes tomorrow, you lose a ton of money. The thing that I like about the houses is it's steadier, because even if the rent doesn't come in, I know the property value is going to go up. In the long run, it will go up. That's one thing that it's a limited resource. Land is a limited resource. The more of it, eventually, that's one thing that I've always wanted to be in the real estate business. So for me, it's doing great. Yuri likes to play a little bit in the stock market, just a little bit. But me, I stay away from it. I'm sticking to the houses. I have my regular 401k. I let that do its thing. But this I really enjoy. The
Yuri, how are your houses doing? Yuri, excuse me.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken. It's likewise. First off, the attention from REI Nation is amazing. I love receiving Carrie's calls every month and checking in. The properties all do as we expect. Like Pete said, sure, there's going to be here and there's either a maintenance or a tenant that's got to turn over, but they're doing exactly as we expect, exactly as we kind of level set. And it's been great. No regrets at all.
Very good. So Ashley Tinker, who's on here, who's taking care of both of you guys. Hopefully she's talking to you and realize what you guys are looking for going forward. She has the experience and the knowledge to find you whatever cities you want to be in. Our properties today don't last very long, and people wonder why we don't put them on a website. Today we have
Yeah.
I think, Ashley, remember from this morning, we have about 60 to 70 people up here looking for houses, and we're going to have about 20 come out this week. So it's a good situation for us to be in. But you guys are been with us a long time, got a lot of houses, and she'll figure out how to squeeze you in there and get whatever you guys are looking for. In the WOW group, which you guys have certainly in, we have, I think it's roughly 380 people today that own 5 or more houses. I think we have another 60 or 70 that own 10 or more houses. And we have 7 ladies in our customer service department, and Carrie's one of them. Carrie works primarily with WOW customers, as does Cindy. And again, their job, if you were a new investor, we asked them to call you. If this is your very first house and you're a brand new investor, we asked them to call you once a week for the first 4 weeks to get acclimated to us and what we do and how we do our program, and having somebody actually call you, which is nobody does that today. Okay. And that's why we think we've been able to grow our business and manage over $1 billion in real estate today, because when we first started, we went in a complete different direction than anybody else. I'm a customer service freak. I like our people covering up our investors with great customer service, the same as we do with our residents. I want to treat our residents the same way. We want them to have a great experience. And we just renewed 200 leases this past month for investors that they're not going to have a move out. So that's the kind of information that Carrie and the rest of the ladies deliver to you guys every month. And certainly to listen to whatever she can go chase down for you or find out for you. And but their role is really, really important to us. And they're that conduit that we have with you guys to listen. And we bring them in about once a month to sit down and talk about our investors on how they're doing and what they're saying, and if we as a family are missing anything and how we can do things better. We know we do pretty good. We know that we make a lot of people happy, but we also know that we're not perfect and we have room to improve. And every month we're chasing that percentage that we can get better, and how can we do things better? How can we better perform? And then Ashley down here is looking for the houses. If you tell her what you want and you want something in 3 months or 6 months or 3 weeks, then she'll be able to find that and locate it for you and get it teed up for you as we move closer. Mark Cobb was a great young man. I've known him since he was a 7-year-old soccer player that I coached. He went on, he was with our family. He's a family friend of ours, been with us for a long time, sold a lot of houses for us. But he was looking for another opportunity, and him and his wife are moving in that direction, and we support him 100%. I still talk to him, text back and forth with him. We wish him the best of luck. I'll help him any way I can. And he's a great young man and did a great job for us. And we'll always owe him a debt of gratitude for he's done a really great job. And I know he did a really good job for you guys. But
Yeah.
we just keep on moving and move ahead. But let me ask you any questions that you would have for us or me or the ladies, or anything that we could answer for you today.
Before you have the question, I just want to make one quick comment about the client service you mentioned there, Clint.
Sure.
We do I'm invested with 2 other management companies. One of them, I don't even know who my client relations person is. I just don't know. So that's why, like you said, Carrie reaching out to us once a month, I know that's my go-to person. That's who I get to talk to. The other company, they're good. But you guys, the service that you guys have been providing has just been outstanding. Like I said, I don't even know who that other, and their houses perform, but what makes you guys different and what makes you guys better is, like you're saying, that client experience, that ability you guys to reach out to us and ask us, hey, how are we doing? And even when it's bad news, you do it in a good way. Like, hey, unfortunately it's happening, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I really do appreciate that from Carrie and your group.
Well, sometimes the ladies, they say, I hate to call and tell them they have a move out. I hate to call them and tell them there's a maintenance call and it's $600. And they hate that part of the job. I know it. But if we do it right and we talk to people like you every single month, and just like you said, there's risk here, just like in the stock market. There are going to be, I have houses myself. I get it every month. I had it over the holiday weekend. I had to send a plumber out to a house on Friday after the day after Thanksgiving at one of my houses. It happens. And if you're afraid of that, then you shouldn't be in this space. All right. And hopefully that we keep them at a minimum and they're not big repairs. But we do a lot of work on the rehabs when we buy the houses. So to have this deferred maintenance that hopefully is deferred way down the road. But there's always going to be things that come up in this when you own a rental house and you have properties and you have residents. So we try to be very careful about the residents that we put in and screening them right so that they're going to pay. And we had a few hiccups back during COVID, but our collection team is doing great. So thank you for the comments. But I just wanted to see what was on you guys, what the questions that you guys may have today. Fire away at us. We love the challenges. Anything we can help you with.
So off the top of my head, I don't have any particular questions. I'll echo the sentiment that the service has been awesome. I think we're both in the same 3 markets. One of our other management companies is very on par with what you guys do and the service they provide. But the other, to Pete's point, I only know they're there because the checks come in. Otherwise, I never hear from them. But, I mean, it's okay, I guess. I do want to mention, we did reach out multiple times to you guys when we were getting near the 5 and 10 properties. And I remember going over the conversations of one of the other vendors gives us an extra incentive once we reach the 10. And I just want to say it was very cool to see that the words were heard and you guys have now brought that incentive in as well. So that was awesome. I want to thank you for.
We only debated about that for like 8 years. Okay.
So, okay. Are you guys looking into other markets? Are you looking to expand?
Yes, we're laying the groundwork as we speak, and we have people that are going to be on the ground in Alabama this week that we're looking at. We're already licensed in Alabama. We're looking at the 3 markets in there, and we'll have people in Birmingham this week already. We are licensed in Florida, so that's an option for us down the road. We have many of our clients in Alabama and in Florida asking us when we're going to be there so that we can manage their properties. They said, we want you to manage our properties, and current customers and other people. So we're taking a look at that, and we don't jump out real quick. We try to do, we're in San Antonio now. We bought our first 6 houses in San Antonio. Our first one's going to come out in a couple of weeks down there. So we go slow. We'll be buying houses in Alabama in January and renovating them, probably come out in February. We're already, we have a list of people that want us to take over their properties in Huntsville and Birmingham to manage them for them. And so we didn't do that in the past. We only managed properties for people that bought houses from us. So we've gotten so many requests and in Alabama and already in Florida about people wanting us to manage their properties that we're looking into that, and we're going to be doing that. And we've assigned a gentleman that's handling that for us and developing that business for us. But so that's where we're going right now. That's the immediate future. We have some stuff down in Mississippi, maybe in Jackson, Mississippi, that we're looking at. We're licensed there. So good question. Hopefully you guys are interested in those markets as we move forward with them.
Yeah,
I'm always interested in expanding. Yeah, for sure. If what are more markets, the better for me. I feel like it's kind of like diversifying a portfolio, kind of.
Well, I'm very careful about, I don't want our quality in any areas that we have to suffer at all, whether it's renovations or purchasing or property management or rental or rents. I just want to make sure that we have all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed, so to speak, that when we go into a market that we have the same level of service that we have in these other markets. And so our reputation, credibility, and integrity is the most important thing to me and our team. And we have to protect that every day and perform every day, because you go back to what you said. It's all about the experience. And
yeah,
we have in our magazine that's coming out this month, it talks about experience matters. And that's why we think what we do matters, because we have a lot of experience. But we want to make sure your experience that you have with us is top notch, top shelf, where if we've earned the opportunity for you to refer us to somebody, we would certainly appreciate that. And we get that only when we perform at a very, very high level and you have a memorable experience. And that's what we're trying to do all times. But you guys are still up. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to follow up Pete's question. One thing that him and I have been debating for the last couple of months, maybe years, is potentially getting into multifamily or commercial. Is that something you guys do?
Well, our family owns some commercial. We own our 40,000 square foot building that we're in here in Tennessee, in Germantown, Tennessee. We have a couple other buildings around that we own. We've had some investors express interest in multifamily, which we could certainly do. I'd say today that we have 6,300 houses, and probably 6,290 of them are single family houses with a couple of duplexes and maybe a triplex in there somewhere. But it's certainly something that we can look at. But if I got you on here, hold on. We have a question on here from Matthew. He's a current client of ours. He'd like to know, if you were both starting today with the same amount of capital, what, if anything, would you do differently versus what you did at that time? So basically, he wants to know, would you do anything different today than what you did when you first started?
I would say, knowing what I know today, I wouldn't try to get my feet wet. I'd put it all into work right away. That was actually advice that I got from the folks that we work with at Jacksonville also. I remember one of the phone calls with them, I asked them, hey, do you think the market will come down as rates move and what have you? And he said, 9 times out of 10, the people that I work with, the clients that I help out, will reach out 6 months later and tell me, I wish I would have bought 3 more.
Yeah.
And that seems to line up with our experience, at least from my point.
Yeah.
The only thing I would have done different is that management company that I don't know who my person is, I wouldn't have invested in that. I would have taken that and brought it over to you guys.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
When we first started 17, 18 years ago, the biggest thing that I heard when I first started was that you could never get anybody to answer the phone at the property manager. Nobody would ever return your call. And it was just a bad show and we wanted to take that and go a different way. And we've had a lot of property management companies come to our office, including a couple we've talked about on this call today, to learn what the secret sauce is here to what we do. And it's really not hard. It's really not hard. And not a lot of people want to spend the money that we spend on 7 customer service people in that department. And that's what we spend. We do that so that we call every client every month. And we can look up and see that the 70 or 80 houses we sell a month, that 50% of them are from existing customers buying more houses. And they do that because we have the right experience and we communicate with them. And today, I don't know how many of your properties you gentlemen have ever seen, but probably 70% of our customers have never, ever seen their property. And we have investors in every state and I think 6 foreign countries. And 70% of them have never, ever seen their houses with us. And we take that really personal, that when you go to bed at night, you put your head on the pillow, we got it. Holidays, 365, 24/7, we got it covered for you. And that means a lot to investors today, I'm quite sure.
It's pretty funny that you mentioned that, because when I started looking at houses, I'm looking at the math. I'm looking at the return and what I'm going to get. And my wife is looking at the picture, like, oh, that's a pretty one. No, I don't like that one. So it's kind of different how she judges that. Yeah. So that's another thing that I like about the properties you guys have. Aesthetically, they look nicer. They look like they're well built and they're pretty to look at. Some of the other houses that they're not as appealing. At least not to me, they aren't. So that's why I'm like, but I'm just looking at the numbers and she's looking at would I live there?
Yeah.
Our renovation process. In fact, we were in here today earlier and we had our couple houses, or the first house up in San Antonio. I was looking at some pictures of it and not real happy with what I saw today on it. At least we're not through with the rehab and some other suggestions that I was giving to them to finish it out. So, we're hands-on, very hands-on, our family. We're going to buy 800, 900 houses this year, certain way that we want them done, certain way we want it to look from the curb. We want to, when that resident walks in there, we want to have the best looking house on the street. We're trying to get as much in rent as we can. And the better the house is, the better it looks, better it smells, the better it feels for that lady and her kids. We're going to get more rent for people like you guys. And that's who we are. We try to bring a lot of quality, a lot of value, and it's spread out over our company in all different areas. But let me go to Carrie here for a second. Carrie, any thoughts on the gentleman today on their portfolio and how we're doing with them?
I think we've been doing pretty good for them. I talk to them every month or leave them a message if I can't get a hold of them. And I love working with you guys. You're a delight to talk to each month. You handle all of the ebbs and flows with grace and kindness, and I really appreciate that.
I've been doing these calls now for like 6 months, and I get so many people say, well, why don't you, we want to see the customer service lady. We want to see the sales people. I said, okay, all right. So my popularity went way down now. So I'll have to do this every week now. So Ashley Tinker, I know you're new with these gentlemen. Do you have an idea of what they're looking for? Are you guys talking? Is she keeping you guys in the loop on everything that we have, or based on what you guys are looking for, if so, or if not?
So we're just go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I haven't had the pleasure of working with Ashley quite yet. The last property that I picked up was still with Mark, and it was really recent. And since then, I told him, okay, I'm gonna need some time to build up some more funds. So I haven't got there yet, but looking forward to it once we get there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you guys. Always here and available to look at properties, keep you updated on new markets, new inventory that we have. So I'm excited to work with you both.
Thank you.
Again, the one thing about our company is that we're not out there pushing houses on email. We're not pushing them on a website. A lot of our new investors, even on the group here, I want to see properties. How do I see properties at? Well, we got to go through a process and see if we're a good fit. All right, first. And people like Ashley, that's what their job is, because some people have unrealistic expectations sometimes, and then we just got to make sure it's going to work for us and work for them. And people are going to let us do what we do, because if you let us do it, we'll get you what we're looking for. And so we're kind of particular about that. That's why we don't have a bunch of houses out there. And so I just want to see final thoughts that you guys may have today.
I did have another question, actually,
Sure.
along the lines of folks that we refer. Because of what we're doing and the success that we've had working with you guys, we get asked all the time, hey, can you put me in touch? Who would you guys prefer that we refer to? Because I think just a couple of weeks ago, I sent somebody to Carrie and Mark because I didn't know who was right. But what's the right way to send referrals your way? We get that a lot.
Well, just send it to Ashley Tinker right there. It would be fine, and she'll take care of it. She's been doing this a long time, and I'm sure she'll take care of them quickly. And you would be happy to have her taking care of whoever you refer to. Because again, we take those very personal, and Ashley knows that when one of our clients refers us to somebody, that becomes very, very important part of her day. Pretty quick, she would be in touch with them. Right, Ash?
That's correct. Absolutely. Send them my way, and I'll touch base with you guys after the call. Make sure you have my cell number, contact, all of that. And yeah, I'll be happy to take care of them. We appreciate that as well. That means a lot when you refer people our way.
And I think Ashley will come back and update you on what happened with that particular call and referral and where we're at with that particular person. But again, if we're fortunate enough to earn the opportunity to have a referral from you or any of our customers, we tell them it's something that we have to earn. Okay, we don't expect that. We have to earn it, and we try to do that every day with two of these ladies that are on the call here. They're a big part of that. And go ahead. Final questions. Other questions?
I'm done, Clint. It was a pleasure actually getting to see you guys and meeting you guys via camera. And one of these days when COVID clears up, I do want to come out there and see Memphis and possibly drive by some of the properties.
It would be great. It'd be our pleasure to have you. We haven't had a visitor in a couple of weeks. We had back in September and October, we had about 6, 8, 10 customers that came through, and we would be our pleasure to have you in anytime and to show you around the city, or whether it's Dallas, our office over there in South Lake, Texas, or over here. And we have about 20 something people in our Dallas office and probably 50 to 60 over here. And be our pleasure to host you anytime you want. Just let Ashley know, and we'll get you around and meet our whole team and kick the tires a little bit and see what we do. So anything else today, gentlemen?
No, I am good.
Again, it's our pleasure having you on here. Thank you for jumping on the call today with us, and it's great to meet you and great to see you. And Ashley and Carrie, thanks for jumping on here. Everybody have a great day, and again, thank you for trusting us with your properties. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right,
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you very much.